I would like to say that they have just small remarks regarding the voluntary force, the ministers from abroad. I think we all know that comparison for the football players. Yeah, but they will be playing on the minefield. You can run from it, or you can be seriously hurt. Of course, they put on the edge their own reputations. I will continue. I will add a couple of my own personal remarks with what has been said before. And I would like to expand what was said totally justifiably. It was said that the politics of the European Union came down to implementation of reforms just for the reforms. Well, you should reform, of course, you should pay for it yourself, improve things, but in the next 200, 250 years, we will not be able to accept you as EU members. And of course, from the German perspective, which I attended similar meetings over there when there were talks about enlargement of the European Union, or maybe joining by the Ukraine. So during those meetings, when we were talking about the association agreement, the spokesperson of Angela Merkel said, how can you even talk about enlargement or the association agreement when Russia is against it? Well, this is the core of all those vetoes. It's the same for the economy. What is Russian economy in the European Union? Germany, just like the Chinese, they work hard, they produce, the products are very well quality. Siemens or Mercedes, you don't need to buy 3 every 2 years, just like you buy products from China. They are cheaper, but the quality is poor. If you buy something from Germany, you know that for a while a certain market has enough of that particular product. That's why you need to expand markets. And from that particular point of view, joining that huge market, that Ukrainian market, to the European Union is a certain asset for German economy. But from the other side, there is this much larger market that's called Russia. So in that context, when we talk about who should get the preference, of course Russia wins, and nobody hides it. And of course everybody knows that the German big business, or Volkswagen, that used to produce 85,000 of Skodas and Audis, or Siemens, that produce, or Nord Stream project, all this indicates that there is strong and close economic ties between Russia and Germany. Of course, it sounds banal, but when we talk about the year 2008, that it was visible that the real politics in Europe, that's what it represented. Not just the European, but the Americans as well. They got a very specific realization of that politics. What happens to security? Well, we all say that the Helsinki agreements are undeniable. The security space is undeniable and it's constant. But when we face real and serious conflicts, military conflicts, just like in the year 2008, we can see that it's just declaration. Of course, European Union confirmed the declaration, but in fact, those topics were just talked over. Nothing was explained until today. Let us imagine a situation today. If Russia decides to act, well, right now it's busy with the Ukraine, but if they decide to invade one of those countries, for example, Georgia, or maybe the country, European country. Of course, Europe and the US will defend Georgia. So situation is much worse than we imagine. We think that right now it's impossible to make Russia angry. It's impossible to help Ukraine with providing weapons. That you cannot hope for European or American support because Russia might fall apart and the geopolitical consequences might be tragic, drastic. Of course, well, nobody says that it should happen, but we should do things that would destroy the regime of Vladimir Putin. But if we freeze the conflict in the eastern Ukraine, for example in Donetsk, sanctions have cumulative effect. You need a couple of years for the sanctions to work. They should accumulate, and their effects will be visible after several years, and it will be serious, but you need several years. And until then, does anybody believe that Putin will just change his position or something will change? I don't believe that. Right now, if you allow me, I will try. After yesterday's discussion, we had a discussion about the Ukraine yesterday. I would like to present a couple of my opinions and opinions from my political, ideological group to show that the invasion of Crimea was not a spontaneous act of Vladimir Putin. Of course, he was convinced that the reaction of Crimea would be similar, just like it was in Georgia in the beginning. A serious reaction from the West, but later on it will be just talked about and nothing will happen. Well, in this case, he has not anticipated such opposition at the Maidan and later in the eastern Ukraine. We have to remember that in 1991, when the Soviet Union fell apart, no verification of the secret service happened. No verification at the KGB. Well, the structure, our military structure, really got really badly hit during the tenure of Yanukovych. Because our intelligence officers, they just left. They quit their jobs on all levels. Well, despite the president and the minister and the chairman of the National Bank, a great number of officers or directors from the police, from the intelligence, they were all agents from the Russian Federation. They all left for Russia now. Well, second point, many in the year 2010 and 2011, the governors from the eastern region were stealing millions and millions of money from those regions, and it was all done in the way to have a good relationship with the army and with the police. The scenario was supposed to be after Crimea, after Donetsk, Lugansk, Dnipropetrovsk, a couple of hundred Russian citizens were supposed to go there, post a flag. There is supposed to be unrest. The police was supposed to be quiet, and then all this money that was brought from Russia, it was supposed to begin an uprising. And the only place where they managed to do that was Donetsk and a little bit in Kharkov and a little bit in Odessa. But in all the other regions, they failed to do that. They did not succeed. And this entire aim of annexation of the Crimea and Donbass, it lost its meaning. It doesn't make sense now. Well, if we compare it to the physiology of a child, we could say that when you cut the umbilical cord between Crimea, for example, between Crimea and the eastern Ukraine, because all the food, all the water, all the supplies are being brought from there. So in all the other cases, Crimea is just not able to sustain itself. Donetsk and Lugansk are the regions that are not able to support themselves. And in the Maidan, we had those tensions and fights. This dictatorship just lost its meaning, it lost its scent. What will happen next? Well, first of all, right now we understand that no Europeans nor Americans will send their armies. They will not go fight there, and they will not give us weapons, and we know that. And often Minister Steinmeier says that the Ukrainians will lose this war, and it's a dangerous. So if you come to Kiev, or if you say something like this in Kiev or in Donbass, I'm sorry to say, but you might get hit, you might get attacked, because we do not accept the thought that we might lose this war. This entire evolution of the military management, we are starting to get it right, and Europeans should very strongly defend Angela Merkel, so she should stay in her position. I think it's extremely important. And I also hope for serious changes in the United States, and that we will finally get a serious support from them, and not just declarations. And also, to conclude about our freedom, I would like to say that we have more analysts, we get more think tanks, there is more pessimism about our membership in Europe, and that means that the interest and energy of the people that lead in this country will concentrate in other actions, but that's a different topic. Thank you.